Hello, my name is Jackie Robinson, and I am the program leader at St. Catharines Collegiate School for our specialized school to community program, which I will also refer to as SSTC or special needs program. And this is the self contained class that is a low enrollment class. So you may have heard of it referred to in any of those names, but it's the specialized school to community program. In our SSTC program for the 22-23 school year, we have a projected 43 students. We have 37 students this year, and 8 of our kids are registered in full-time SSTC classes, which means they only take classes with the low enrollment classes. They don't go outside of that at all into the regular ed program. We have 29 students that have what we call partial integration. So they are with the SSTC low enrollment classes for most of their day, but then they may have 1 or 2 courses where they work with our regular ed students, regular ed teachers, and I will go into that a little bit further, but it gives them a few more opportunities than they would have staying exclusively in our low enrollment classes. Right now, we have 4 full-time SSTC teachers, and then we have 4 specialty teachers that each are doing 2 courses this year. And there are 4 classes per period, and each of those SSTC classes has between 7 and 10 students. And it can be even smaller at times when we have more kids integrated in a certain period. So it's a nice small group where the kids have lots of support and are really able to get to know each other. This particular year, we have 9 educational assistants that are supporting those classes and our students in our integration classes. So in our SSTC program, we have academic classes and non-academic, just like the regular ed program. Our academic classes that we try to focus on are literacy, numeracy, and life skills. And then the other ones you see listed there will kind of be on a rotation. So this year, all of our students are taking a history class. And maybe next year we'll do science or geography. I'm not sure what next year is going to look like yet, but we rotate through the different academic classes to give kids an opportunity to take a lot of different things. If you are a student in one of our low enrollment classes, you are able to stay at Collegiate or in any of the programs that you're in with the DSBN in the low enrollment classes. You can stay until the year you turn 21. So for some kids, that's up to 7 years where they're able to stay and take all sorts of things. So we don't want to give them the same things over and over and over. We also have the non-academic classes that are the low enrollment, and we have things like phys ed, construction technology, horticulture. There are culinary programs, art, music, cosmetology. We have a transit training class that runs at sometimes, and we have parenting. There's all sorts of options that we have. Collegiate is a really diverse school with many different courses available. We do have integration opportunities, like I mentioned. Students who are in the partial integration program can take up to 2 regular education classes per semester. They don't have to, but it's an option. There are 2 sort of pathways within that, and most of our students will audit those classes, so they're in for the experience to learn, but they're not particularly worried about a grade. It doesn't show as a grade on their report card. It just shows that they took the class and audited it. They also can take the course for credit. So if it's a student that we feel is going to be successful with some support to get the credit, then we absolutely give them that opportunity. Regardless of whether they're learning at the credit level or not, doesn't change the content. However, it is really important to note that if they are receiving credits for these courses, these credits do not count toward the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. That's a 30 credit program, and it's not something that our students would be working towards when they're in the low enrollment classes. So they can get credits that go towards a different kind of certificate, but it's not going to their OSSD. Some of the integration courses that we offer are the arts, with including drama and music. We have lots of tech, horticulture, cosmetology, automotive, construction, welding, introduction to tech. We have phys ed. We also offer some more academic courses. So these ones are the SSTW courses, which stands for Specialized School to Work. And that means that the students who are in these courses wouldn't be going on to college or university. However, they would be getting credits and working towards a diploma. So some of our kids will integrate into those classes at times. And so those would be like the science, English, math, history, civics, and careers. Sometimes we get other classes pop up, but those are the most common ones that they can choose to take. So, what does a day look like at Collegiate? I find that this is probably one of the most stressful things for parents and students who are new to our school. It looks very different. You have been doing the same thing for 10 years when you've been taking your precious cargo and dropping them off. Uh, and it's a little scary relinquishing them to the high school world. However, hopefully, this will alleviate some of your concerns. First of all, we offer transportation that's door to door. So they get picked up at their house and dropped off at Collegiate, and they are met by EAs, and the EAs help them all get into the building and get to where they need to be. Usually they'll have a locker they will go to first if their classroom, if that makes sense with their class. And then I have the schedule broken down for you here as well. So in a typical day, in a non-COVID day, and this is the schedule we have just finally moved back to in the last couple weeks. Period 1 is from 8:10 to 9:30, and then they have 5 minutes to get to their next class. Period 2 is from 9:35 to 10:50. Then they have their lunch, and then at 11:30 they can start heading to their third period class, which runs from 11:35 to 12:50. And then they have 5 minutes to get to their last class, which is 12:55 to 2:10. We usually dismiss our kids about 2:05 to have them head down to the buses, just to get them out of the halls before it gets chaotic with the entire student body going down the same couple staircases. It just is a little easier for our kids. They are taken out to the buses by the EAs, and they get door-to-door transportation home. So what does supervision look like in high school? So you just heard how when your son or daughter or ward arrives, they are met at the door, and they're brought into the building. Some of our kids over time are able to come in on their own, but some of them do need that support all throughout high school, and that's okay. That's what we're there for. During class, there is one teacher and 1 to 2 EAs, usually, sometimes as many as 3, depending on the class. And when you're looking at 7 to 10 kids, that's a pretty decent ratio. It's usually, 1 to 5 or 3, or 1 to 3 sometimes, depending on how many people are in there, which is great. We also provide support from class to class. So the EAs move around as well, and so often they will take the kids to their next class. Especially in the beginning of the year, we make sure there's tons of support going from one class to another, because Collegiate is a gorgeous building, but it's very big, and we want to make sure our kids don't get lost. And so we're finding some of our kids that need a little more support are just now starting to get comfortable going to the bathroom on their own, or finding their next class on their own. And so we gradually work them into that. During lunch, our students have a few options. Some of them are able to eat in the cafeteria. Some of them eat in the lunchroom that we have. And a lot of them eat in the hallway right outside the lunchroom. They've really enjoyed eating there this year. We have EAs in the lunchroom and in that hallway to supervise. And the cafeteria always has staff in there as well from other parts of the building that are supervising. Some of our students leave the property and go to Giant Tiger, go to Tim Hortons, go get Slurpees at lunch, to go hang out with their friends. And that's done on a permission basis. So before we are going to let a student leave the property, we are going to make sure with the family that the parents are comfortable with that. They may not be, or they may not be yet. Usually semester 1 of grade 9, we keep them pretty close. as we find out, who's responsible, who has the street smarts, who's interested, and whose parents are comfortable with it, then they sometimes start to venture out a little bit. But we make sure we touch base with you before a plan like that is put into action. After school, our kids are escorted back down to the bus and they're supervised until they get on the bus, and then they are off to you. So there is a lot of supervision that happens within our program, and that is due to the low enrollment classes. Another big shift for parents is the communication in high school. It is incredibly different. So you go from having, some of you may have daily correspondence with your teacher or EA, and high school doesn't really look like that. So I encourage my parents to remember that no news is good news. It means we've had a good day. You won't hear from us every day. There aren't agendas being written in every day. But we do put out a newsletter every month to kind of keep you in the loop. And we have our regular IEP meetings and parent-teacher conferences. So there's lots of little check-in dates, and we can always, respond to emails as needed. At Collegiate, we have specific program goals for all of our kids, and we want them to meet their potential. We really have noticed that our kids will rise to meet our expectations, so we try to set out high but achievable expectations, and that looks different for every student sometimes. Right now, our big focus is broken down on this page for you. So we have our academic skill development, where we are working on functional literacy and numeracy. So things they will actually need to be able to do in their real life after high school. So for numeracy, a big focus is money and making sure our students understand money so that they are able to manage their money wisely, and also to protect their finances so they don't get, ripped off or scammed by somebody. We also look at life skills, conflict resolution, executive functioning skills, all those kind of different things that fit in there. We look at safety, both in internet safety. We look at consent. We look at sex education to make sure that students are as protected as possible instead of being vulnerable. We look at social skill development and conversations, social stories, practicing those skills. And we do that in every class. So in a math class, we may have a conversation about what it means to be a good listener and how to carry on a conversation, or how to not interrupt people when they're talking, or get help and things like that. We look at job readiness if appropriate. So a lot of our students do have the goal of getting a job. And so if that is something they're interested in, we want to make sure that we are helping them develop the skills and the resources to do that. Our big focus is what are they going to do after high school? What is their best possible life? What does it look like? What is their job? What is their social situation, their housing? And we have very little control over a lot of that. So what we want to do is find out what the plan is for them and help make them as, help make them as confident as possible to move on into that life and to be as prepared as possible. And then we also work with a gradual release of responsibility, in that with our kids, we start off with them watching us do things. We do things together with them. They do things with us watching, and then they go off and they're able to do it independently. So that would look in cooking like, let's watch us make a meal. And now we're going to make a meal together. And now you're going to make a meal and I'm going to watch you. And now you should be able to make it at home by yourself. So it's exciting to see them grow from grade 9 to the end of the program, where they are they're able to go off and be as independent as possible. We offer all sorts of extracurricular activities, both within our regular ed program and our special needs program. We have our Special Olympics and all sorts of sports you can see listed. We have dances. We have a coffee cart program we run, which allows the students to run a little business within the building. Sometimes we do movie trips. We have special meals. We have a lunch program that we offer right now, where all of our students are able to have a lunch provided for free. And often it's pasta or soup, grilled cheese, hot dogs, taco salad. There's been all sorts of things. And they're able to come up and get that any day. And that is paid for by the principal. We also do family meals together. So we had a big turkey dinner a couple weeks ago where we all sat down. Everyone had a hand in developing and either cooking the meal or making decorations, setting the tables, tearing everything down at the end and cleaning up. Everybody participated. And then we practiced good table manners and dinner conversation, and we had a lot of fun. There's also in-school opportunities such as the track team. There are other school teams that are listed there. We also have our student voice, which is like our student council, dance groups periodically, school dances, prom, drama, and different school productions. So the little bit here I'm just going to show you is a few of our classrooms so you can get an idea for what these look like. So this is our first classroom, and you have a little, we have lots of pictures on the walls, and we have a little chill space the kids can hang out in if they want to. And these Adirondack chairs and the little table in the middle were all built by students in our woodworking department. This is another of the same classroom. So this is a check-in board that we use from time to time to see how the kids are doing, both with their mental health and with their understanding. And this is just an example of one of the fun little projects we did where we created a whole city using just recycled cardboard boxes. This is another classroom. This one is a lot more streamlined. The first one, admittedly, is mine. It's a little more cluttered than most, but this is our literacy classroom right now. And you can see the desks are all spread out for COVID, but often when we don't have to deal with that, our desks are put together into pods or into U-shape. This is another of our classes. I think at least 3, if not 4 of our classrooms have smart boards right now that are used to varying degrees. We have a plant, I'm trying to remember what it's called, a NutriTower or something or other back here that actually grows plants using artificial light and water. It's really cool, and that's something our kids are working with. And then back here you can see there's this door, and this door leads to our kitchen, which is our 4th space that we have. So this is our big kitchen. You can see there's this giant prep station here for the kids. We have multiple microwaves, multiple fridges, multiple stoves, sinks, etc. There's a washer dryer. So we use this for life skills. We also use it for preparing the meals for our kids. And then I wanted to show you a few of our integration classes, our tech classes that are available. And sometimes these are going to be a straight special needs class, and sometimes they're going to be an integrated class. But we have a fabulous tech department, and there are so many cool opportunities and so many tech shops that are here that I didn't want to end without showing you some of the really, really cool things you can do at Collegiate that are really unique to Collegiate. So this is our wood shop. And more of our wood shop. And the teacher that is teaching this is a master carpenter and is very skilled and excellent with our kits. This is our manufacturing class, and all of these classes I'm showing you, there's a lot more to them, but I only had time for so many pictures. And this is our machine shop. So there's welding that happens in here. They make sculptures. They make things that they need for other classes. It's a pretty fun thing to see. Lots of sparks flying and safety goggles everywhere. This is our hairstyling and aesthetics class, which is admittedly the creepiest room in the building to be in when the lights are off with all those heads looking at you. But this is a very popular program. It fills up very quickly, and the kids really come out of the program with a lot of new skills they didn't have before. So this is the hairstyling side, and then you can see in the middle we've got a little wash station here, and over on the other side are the spa beds that we have that are a recent purchase but have allowed an expansion into more spa treatments and aesthetics. They do get opportunity to practice on each other or on staff when it's not COVID, so they do get lots of real life experience. This is our auto shop. This is our auto teacher, who is aptly named Mr. Chrysler, and they work on actual functioning cars that staff and students bring in. They also work on just sort of tear apart different things like junkers to try and learn how to use different things, hook things up. It's a pretty neat program. So we also have a really huge baking and culinary program. So we have over 3 teachers that are in the baking and culinary department full time, which is quite significant. So usually that means we have about 18 baking and culinary classes running every year or every semester. Or every year, sorry. And so this is the bake shop back here you see, and we have a pastry chef that teaches that. We have one of our prep kitchens over here. You can see there's the pizza oven. We have a wood-fired pizza oven outside in the courtyard that we also have an outdoor barbecue for the kids and the staff to be able to use, with supervision, of course. This is our main kitchen, and they do a lot of the prep for the cafeteria. This gentleman over in the red here is Mr. Cottingham. He is our culinary teacher, the main one that we have in the building right now. And he's a former chef at White Oaks. So the people that we have here are legit, know what they are doing. It's pretty cool. Our students are making macaroons, French macaroons this week in culinary. And those are the students from the special needs program. This is our horticulture class, and the horticulture class does what you would think, lots of lawn maintenance, plant cultivation. They have worm farms. We have a greenhouse. We have plant sales every year. And Mr. Martilla usually teaches a couple sections or a couple classes of the special needs horticulture every year for us. So just before I wrap up, I just wanted to share with you, I asked some of our students, what do you like about Collegiate? Or what do you like about collegiate and high school that's different than elementary school? And so these are some of the responses I got. The teachers was the first one that a lot of them said, which is lovely to hear. They said it's a good school. You get free food, which, teenage boys, that's a big deal. A bigger gym. And we actually have 3 gym spaces. We have a small gym, a large double gym, and then we have a full fitness center that is just renovated, and it actually just opened a few years ago, and it's beautiful. A lot of staff use it after school. Students can use it as well. And then we also have our outdoor spaces as well. We have a coffee cart that runs, like I mentioned, as a sort of small business where students can make and buy and sell food. Lots of helpful staff. They also they had more freedom, more independence. At break times, they didn't have to ask to go out for lunch, once we've had their parents' permission, of course. They liked that there were people that can help you. They said better treatment, which I don't think is better treatment than in elementary school, but they felt like they were treated like their own age. So as they're getting older, they liked that they felt like they were being treated older. Lots of subjects to choose from, more representation from the LGBTQ community, and more acceptance. They had more history courses, more cooking. They enjoyed the shorter day, woodworking, hairdressing, and making new friends. So you can see that covers everything from the actual education that they're receiving to the support they have to the acceptance to their friends. And I think that's great. To me, that says that it's a successful program that we are looking forward to welcoming more students into next year. Finally, if you have any questions or concerns about the program, about anything else, please feel free to reach out to me. I am much faster at email than I am phone, but if you'd like to email, it's Jackie, JACI.Robinson@dsbn.org. If you are interested in setting up a private tour, you can send me an email, and I'm absolutely happy to do that for you. And any concerns that you have that I can help alleviate to make it a stress-free transition, please feel free to reach out, and we will see you at Collegiate in the fall.